Yes, guys, welcome back. Teams like Brighton's back. That means the World Cup is over. And Richie, we have a World Cup winner in our squad. What a
Yeah.
feeling.
Pray tell the name. I've forgotten him.
His name is Sir Alexis Mac Allister. What a guy. What a player. And huge impacts in the game as well. Huge impact.
Yep. I mean, it was interesting. It's just mad because just for people just generally, I'm reading this book at the moment, Build a Bonfire. You know, when Brighton 25 years ago or so, literally went this close to being no more. This close to being no more. In like League Two, the abyss was, near. And now they've got a World Cup final winner. I mean, it's just bonkers, I mean, how rags to riches. It's unbelievable. So, and weirdly enough, just, Mac Allister wasn't picked for the first game. And that was the game they lost to Saudi Arabia. So,
It's funny how that game was crying out for a midfielder like Mac Allister. It was desperate. It needed Alexis to be playing in that match to control that midfield because their midfield was non-existent. And then, funny enough, he plays the rest of them all the games. And what happens? I'm just saying it. Instant impact. He was the difference for Argentina. Huge difference.
Yeah. And just a slight side note on a Brighton perspective, how much praise should the Brighton board, Tony Bloom and co, be given for a few weeks before the World Cup, giving Alexis Mac Allister a 3-year contract plus the option of an extra year? I mean, that's just a brilliant timing because obviously you never want to see a player leave, but his stock has just gone. So
yeah,
if hopefully they won't, but at some point he may leave, and if he does leave, Brighton will hopefully get a very, very good fee for him. But let's not talk about that because
let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about Inter Milan, AC Milan, and Atletico wanting him. Well, yes, exactly. We'll focus on the main thing, and the fact that is Brighton and Albion have a World Cup winner, and I love it. I love it, considering the fact of the Argentine talent we've had in the past has been very questionable. If people can remember the Withdean years of Federico Turienzo, who was a sick note to say the least. We had Christian Baz and Agustin Battipiedi, who were like Gus Poyet's like significant signings in his first summer at the Withdean. And they were awful. There's only one way to describe it. Baz had a bit more promise and a bit more flair, and he was very close to scoring a goal of the season at Carlisle, I want to say, but that was it. And then you have Agustin Battipiedi, who was in the Championship, and to this day I don't know how, because he was not a very good footballer. I mean, you go from there to all the way down to Eastbourne Borough. Not slating Eastbourne Borough in any way, shape, or form, but he just wasn't a highly rated midfielder. Whenever you saw him, he looked like he was prone to an error and was very, very shaky on the ball. And then we get Alexis Mac Allister, a huge jump, playing alongside the likes of Lionel Messi and Lionel Messi. Really, screw it, forget everyone else. Lionel Messi,
there was that photo, wasn't there, with the three of them? There was Di Maria, Mac Allister, and Messi, just like the big three. Enough said.
Yeah, big three. Yeah, exactly. They were the key players. Whenever Di Maria and Mac Allister were off the pitch, were subbed off, Argentina were vulnerable. So it's just incredible that not just how good our scouting is, not just how good Mac Allister is, but just how good he is on the ball in those high pressure environments. And that's something that we've been crying out for in the past. And now I'm going to say this, guys, Europe. Can we talk about Europe?
Well, actually, I think that's a good point to segue onto, because I saw this really interesting stat about the the number of minutes per team for the who had their players at the World Cup. And there's no surprises in terms of the top guys. You've got Man City 4,628 minutes, Spurs 3,634. But in sixth, breaking up the so-called big sixth, ahead of Arsenal, Brighton 1,543 minutes, only behind Liverpool, Chelsea, Man U, Tottenham, and Man City.
Brilliant.
Brighton, you're going to crash the party, man.
Oh, I will moan at one thing though. Why aren't any of the pundits putting Mac Allister in his team of this tournament? That's boggling my mind. Someone put De Bruyne.
What?
Someone's put De Bruyne. Yeah, I kid you not. Someone's put Kevin De Bruyne over Alexis Mac Allister. I'm like, what is going on? I couldn't believe it.
I mean, that's got to be.
Couldn't believe it.
Micah Richards.
Yeah, that's the joke.
Man City bias, maybe.
No, I can't remember the name of this person that stood out. But it was a terrible shout, and all
How
I
can
can
you
think
pick
of
someone who
is
doesn't get out of the group stage?
I don't know, to be honest. I do not know. I was shaking my head so many times. So hopefully goes under the radar. We don't have to talk about it that much, but just means that his profile doesn't get as much of a hype as we like to, and we hope that he deserves. It just means that he's going to be in for a quiet January where he gets to enjoy life on the South Coast. Probably goes a walk along the Brighton beach with a cup of coffee in the mornings before training, and then he can look forward to Premier League matches and potentially an EFL Cup tie in February. Who knows? But there's a lot going on there. And first up for us is a trip to Charlton.
I thought you were going to say
about that one.
Mac Allister is going to be ready for a trip to Charlton tomorrow.
No, so, I mean,
World Cup,
guy is a machine.
Same thing. Just before we
there
get
are levels to this.
Just before we get to the Charlton thing, because obviously finally we'll have domestic football Premier League wise related back. But just on Mac Allister, I think it's two points. The first, just in terms of before the World Cup, I was lucky enough to interview him, and I spoke about I asked him about how it maybe took a while for him to adapt, because it did. He signed from Argentina's juniors in I think 2019, but he didn't make his Brighton debut until just before the lockdown, I believe, 2020 time or something like that. And then even then, it's only really been since 2022, I think, basically since, the Boxing Day fixture, the win over Brentford last year. So it's been like under a year, but now he's finally basically just been a first one of the first names on the team sheet. So it really has taken a long time. I also had a couple of loan spells back at Juniors and then Boca Juniors. But so he told me the first year at Brighton wasn't easy for me. I wasn't playing regularly. Then the Argentina coach, Scaloni, decided not to pick me for a few games. I started playing here in Brighton. I became a different player, a better human being. That was the moment I said to myself, I was ready to play here and in the national team. And then he also said he fulfilled his dream move to the Premier League team. It wasn't as easy as I imagined. When I got here, I realized that I was not physically at the level I needed to be for the league. At times, I also suffered and cried, and I missed my family and friends, but I never gave up. I knew that I had the ability to play here. And I mean, I think those quotes are just beautiful. And now that he's lifting the trophy, I think it's fantastic, a fantastic journey for him. And everyone connected to Brighton and more is very, very proud of him. And on a very slight different note, bit tongue-in-cheek, did you see the comments that were going around after he, I think his girlfriend posted on Instagram and he commented underneath? Did you see that?
Yes.
We won't say exactly what he said, but if you know, you know. If you know, you know.
if you know, you know. He wasn't. Let's not say he wasn't being subtle about. Was he? Oh, Ali
Was that
Mac,
lost in
mate. Ali
translation,
Mac.
or was that literally just no? He's just saying what he's
I,
said like
I,
it is.
I, for his sake, I hope it's just a case of lost in translation, rather than him getting a bit drunk and then mistaking an Instagram post for a WhatsApp message or something like that. It's comical, but I mean, he could be forgiven for that silly mistake and laugh about it for ages because he doesn't care. For the next 4 years at least, Alexis Mac Allister is world champion. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. But no doubt, I mean, he was in Argentina yesterday, parading the trophy with his fellow teammates. And so there is, without a shadow of a doubt, he won't be featuring tomorrow at the Valley for the Albion's trip to Charlton in the EFL Cup. Quietly talking about a lovely cup run in this competition is very, very enjoyable for me. 6,500 Brighton fans at the Valley, so that's taking over half of the upper tier in one of the stands, and as well as the main away end behind the goal. I think it's going to be another really good, another buzzing atmosphere like it was over at the Emirates, and hopefully we don't have a banana skin moment in this. I don't want us going in there thinking, yeah, we've won this. I want us going in and go like, nah, we've been missing action for a month and a half now. We want to win this. We want to go in here and name and hat for the next round. And looking at the other fixtures as well, I mean, there's guaranteed to be at least one heavyweight gone in the City Liverpool match on Thursday night, which I believe is when the draw is. So all of a sudden you could be whispering, thinking we could cause an upset here. And I'm really enjoying taking that seriously rather than in a light-hearted comment, Richie. What are your thoughts on Charlton?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the opponents themselves, obviously they're in League One. They're not doing very well at the moment. They are, I think, managerless. I think Anthony Hayes is in charge, and that's been the case for a few weeks. Johnny Jackson was sacked, I think, earlier this year, and then they got in another manager. Name escapes me. So they've had like at least 2 managers this in 2022. In the league, I believe they've lost 3 in a row and haven't won in any of the last 5. They're down in 18th. They lost in the FA Cup earlier this month to Stockport. So they are really bang out of form. So the typical thing would be them to come and bloody win. But this is a really, really good opportunity for Brighton to progress, to the quarterfinals. So, I mean, yeah, this is obviously, there's the kind of, you're hoping for Europe, but this is a great opportunity where, the draw might open up. They're doing well in the league. They're not going to be relegated. This could be the year.
Could be the year to lift a major trophy in for the first time in the club's history is insane. And if someone goes and corrects me about the Community Shield back in 1911 or whenever it was, that doesn't count. That's not a major trophy. But I cannot wait. The potential on this is just insane. And I absolutely love it. And I'm trying to figure out when is the quarterfinal draw, because I'm trying to figure. Yeah, it's going to be. It's going to take place after the City Liverpool game at like 10 o'clock at night.
Is that on Wednesday or Thursday?
Thursday. So a win tomorrow would be just the perfect way to start the festive season and its craziness with the football calendar, which on the personal note, I absolutely despise. But I am also really looking forward to seeing the Albion again because God, I've missed it. It's been so alien to me watching the World Cup in the winter months.
Yeah.
Like it's been snowing. We've had snow on the ground settling, and I'm watching the World Cup, watching the biggest competition in world football happening before our very eyes while it's snowing. I'm used to beer gardens and hot, sunnier climates than this. But cannot wait. And we've got big games this month as well. Southampton away, Arsenal at home, just to name a couple. Then we've got a long trip to
That's all we've
Everton
got.
in the new year.
There's only 3 matches, but yeah.
And then Borough away in the cup, which is absolutely wonderful. I always wanted to go and make a really long 300, 400, 500-mile round trip to go and watch an FA Cup tie. It's the magic of the cup all over again, coming back to life. But I cannot wait. Cannot wait for Charlton. Cannot wait for Southampton. Cannot wait for Arsenal on New Year's Eve. I think that they are 3 big matches for us to really get the momentum back up again. It'll be interesting to see what De Zerbi's going to do. Obviously, Caicedo might probably start.
Yeah, because we just quickly,
Boxing
so
Day.
the just for Charlton, obviously. Sorry, pretty much all the World Cup players are back. I think now. I think everyone bar Mac Allister is back. So you've got Matoma's back. You got Trossard back. Obviously, the Ecuadorians. Lamptey's back. I think this is probably a chance for maybe some fringe players, and I think that they'll still. I mean, we talked about it when Brighton beat Arsenal, but Brighton's sort of second string 11 was almost stronger, was arguably was better than Arsenal's. So the strength in depth is there. So it's not like you're gonna. There is a very, very good fringe player team waiting in the wings, and I hope that they'll be given a chance again. But yeah, it will be interesting to see, I guess, the difference between the Charlton team and the Southampton team. So, but yeah, very, very exciting. And I can't wait to get back to covering football again. Off to the Valley for the first time, so that should be good.
That is a good experience, good little ground. I do enjoy a away trip to Charlton, has to be said. I suppose we'll keep this short and sweet, guys. So we'll finalise with Richie. What is your score prediction?
I'm going to go bold and say 3-1 to Brighton. I'm feeling confident.
I'm feeling like that as well. I reckon it's going to be a solid 3-0 affair.
Ooh.
3-0 affair. Ooh. Clean sheet. You love to see it. But I don't know. Banana skins happen in this cup, and it'll be interesting to see how De Zerbi handles it, because I've got a feeling that Charlton will be up for this. I reckon they could do what Bristol City did a few years back. I've got a feeling that could happen, but I'm still being optimistic, and I certainly hope I'm going to have a smile on my face on the train back home from London Bridge, rather than one of sadness and disappointment. I've got to keep the festive spirit up. But yes. Anyway, guys, as ever, thank you for joining us. We will be back to normal schedule as per usual on teams like Brighton. Until then, Merry Christmas, and we'll speak ahead of Southampton. Richie, as always, good to see you again.
You too, boss. Take care.